Hello everybody, this is Gene again. As you're currently looking at an old PlayStation 2 demo disc back from when we used to have, the PlayStation Magazine? Going way back in time. Lou is here on the cover, and the reason why is because I am again discussing Mortal Kombat 11. And I am an old fogey, so all of my Mortal Kombat references come from the original series, from the original timeline. So, the reason why I'm making another video about the MK11 trailer is an article I read on the CBR website. For those who don't know, CBR is Comic Book Resources. They're not exactly a resource I like to use, but I thought that it would be interesting. The article that they posted was interesting. And once I finally get a proper laptop, I can start putting things like links and descriptions and whatnot. But this is on the off the cuff. That's a good one. Off the cuff, on the fly. So this is the best setup I have as of right now. Anyhow, the article itself was just about Mortal Kombat 11 and Raiden, and it was talking about, of course, there's a fire truck passing by as I'm making a video. Of course there is. Anyway, the article, story of my life. The article was about Raiden. It was about the Mortal Kombat trailer, and it specifically discussed Raiden and how Raiden is now a villain, according to this article from CBR. Raiden is now a villain. And the article itself just basically... now I've lost my place. The article basically just summarizes Raiden's history in the reboot and shows his descent into villainy. With the exception of one part, which is the part where it talks about Raiden defeating and killing Scorpion as some sort of indication of his moral decline, on him turning to evil. Writer of article, I don't remember the person's name, I don't have the article in front of me, so I just gotta refer to him as a writer. Writer of article, it's Mortal Kombat. Okay, I want to repeat that. It's Mortal Kombat. Every character, regardless of how moral or immoral or amoral they are, is a murderous piece of work. They're murderous, crazy, psychotic SOBs. Even Liu, right? Liu, who typically up until the end of the original timeline and in the reboot where he becomes corrupted and him and Kitano rule the Nether Realm, right? For the bulk of the series, he's, a good guy, and yet he's the guy who can transform into a dragon and bite his opponent in half. Or, just burn them up and turn them into cinders with fire. So, again, this is Mortal Kombat. It's about killing your opponent. It's Deathmatch, the video game. But anyway, getting back on point, getting back on task, what frustrated me about the article wasn't really what the article said. It was what it didn't say and what it didn't acknowledge, which is the past, which is the original series. The idea of a Dark Raiden or an evil Raiden is not new to the overall Mortal Kombat mythos. But you wouldn't know that if you read this article. This article makes it seem like the reboot is the only time Raiden's ever been a dark or evil figure. That up until this point, he's always been a nice, benevolent thunder god. That is simply objectively untrue. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the article outright claims this. I'm not saying there's a line in the article, I've read the article twice, where it says that Raiden was never a evil or a dark figure previously. So I'm not claiming it actually says that. It doesn't. However, the tone it's written in, again, it's about what it's not saying. I believe that the tone it's written in gives the impression, especially to those who are only familiar with the original series, with the new series, or are not familiar with Mortal Kombat. Oh, RJ's here. Hi, RJ. Or those who are not familiar with Mortal Kombat at all, would get the impression that Raiden has always been this nice, benevolent protector of Earthrealm, until his descent into darkness in the reboot, which apparently this descent is now coming full circle in Mortal Kombat 11. And again, it's simply not true. Okay, Dark Raiden, right, was first introduced in Mortal Kombat Deception, which came out in 2004. Right, basically, for those who don't know or don't remember, Raiden pretty much destroyed himself trying to defeat Onaga, who was the big bad of that game at the time. He failed. He comes back, and he basically comes back as this angry, vengeful thunder god who's tired of relying on humans to protect Earth. He's tired of taking a passive role, and he decides that he's going to, run ragshod and be more belligerent and aggressive. And that's what he is. And I actually liked that turn. I actually liked Dark Raiden because I, too, was tired of Raiden being this passive figure. He has the power of a god, right? He's a thunder god, and yet he was such a passive figure for most of the games. So I was all for Dark Raiden. I actually liked that turn of character, and then that continued in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which was the last game in the original timeline, and that game came out in 2006. So if we're just talking about the idea of a Dark Raiden, an anti-hero Raiden, that was introduced 14 years ago, in 2004. Okay, not in 2011. It's not a new idea. Now, this can even go back even further, because if you're familiar with the totality of the series, or if you're an old head like me, whose gaming history goes back to the 80s and the 90s, you probably know that in the very first Mortal Kombat game, in 1992, so 26 years ago, Raiden was a bad guy. Right? His ending in the first Mortal Kombat game, and I know this because A, I played it, and B, I checked the ending on YouTube right before I made this video. His ending in the very first game, again, 26 years ago, so a quarter of a century ago, an entire generation ago, his original ending has him defeating everybody, running ragshod over everyone, and then it goes on to state that because of Raiden's win, other Elder Gods, who apparently none of them are good it seems, other Elder Gods are able to compete in the tournament, and they end up destroying Earth. Have a nice day. That is literally the last few words in the ending for Raiden for the first Mortal Kombat game. Have a nice day. So the idea of a evil Raiden, a Dark Raiden, an anti-hero, angry, aggressive Raiden, is not new. It is not new to the Mortal Kombat franchise, and it is not exclusive to the reboot. It is something that was done in the original, and it's in the original timeline, I should say, and it's something that's being done in the reboot. Now, I have no issue and no problem with the reboot making Raiden a dark, angry, vengeful god character. That's fine by me. What I take issue with is not even the game itself. It hasn't even come out yet. What I'm taking issue with is the tone of this article. And again, what it doesn't say. With this article not acknowledging the fact that this is not a new idea. It's not an original idea. It's something that's been done before. And I believe that this, I'm not going to say it was intentional, because I don't know the mind of the writer. And I don't know the writer's knowledge base. The writer may sincerely believe that this is new to the series, and only the reboot has done it. I personally find that unlikely, but you never know. I can't read the writer's mind. I don't know the writer's past with the Mortal Kombat series. But I do believe that this lack of acknowledgement of the past and stuff that's been done in the past, done previously, is symptomatic of a greater, and I believe in many ways, intentional disregarding of the past in nerddom in general. We see it in movies, we see it in TV shows, in cartoons, and everything that's being rebooted and recast and gender flipped and race flipped and remade. There's this excuse me. There's this lack of acknowledgement and at times flat out straight up denial of the past, especially if it's something that again has been done before, which it often is. And as a lifelong gamer, as just a nerd, right? Comic books, video games, cartoons, music, whatever it is. I'm a passionate fan of those mediums. And the past of those mediums is just as important as their present and as their future. And if we want to truly grow in these mediums, if you want to make better music, if you want to make better video games, if you want to make better movies, TV shows, whatever it is, you can't act as if the past never existed, that never happened, or that this, idea in your head, you're the first person to ever think of this. My team is the first person to ever make Raiden a bad guy. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a sin to acknowledge the past. It is not a sin to learn from the past and move forward. And when you see stuff like this, right, this lack of acknowledgement of the past, and you're part of that past, you grew up with that past, you remember when that past was your present, yes, it's frustrating. It is frustrating to basically, in some ways, be unpersoned, as dramatic as that may sound, by a current generation that likes to believe that they're the first to do everything. No, you're not. As I like to say in the comments of videos at times, you late! You're decades late! This is not new. And again, I'm not mad at the writer. I'm mad at what I feel is the bigger picture, which is the neglectfulness and I feel in many ways, not with this writer particularly, but in many ways overall, the intentional erasure of the past and of fans, the original core OG fans who made the series, whatever it be, a video game, TV show, comic, whatever it is, what it is. You don't have Mortal Kombat without people like me, right, who grew up on the original series, who begged her mother to get a Sega Genesis and to buy these games, or begged her aunt, to borrow these games and to play these games. You don't have that without us. So acknowledge us. Acknowledge the past. We're not saying stay stuck in the past, but acknowledge that we were here first, and you're not original. That's pretty much all I wanted to say, and this video is a little past the 13-minute mark, a lot longer than I thought I would go. So let me just move on. Let me know what you think. Tell me whether you agree, you disagree, you think I'm crazy, you think I should kick rocks. Let me know. Thank you and have a good night.